So, this is what we hauled back the other week. Mark 10 Chieftain. And this is the one that was full of concrete. So, the story as far as we know it is it was a gate guard. And they filled the engine bay full of concrete just to make it a bit less attractive to scrapmen, I think. We're not quite sure. Do we know why they filled it with concrete? Was it just to stop scrapmen taking it?
No, I think they filled it with concrete. It's sort of training when they're loading on a vehicle.
Weren't to stop it.
So it's sort of like recovery training, I think.
So it weren't to stop it blowing away.
Well, the things with this, it was filled with helium and road wicks. Make it light.
So yeah, but other than that, to say this has stood outside for a while, this is the main reason that we've acquired it. Was worst comes to worst, it's got a lot of valuable spare parts on it to get. So these two have names. So Ebby is called Ebby because the number is EB something or other. That's one that came from Battle Group Raiden, needs the engine refitting. Then this one, because it smokes so badly, we've named Greta because it's that friendly to the environment. So yeah, this one, the road wheels aren't that clever on it. There are some gouges and pitting, whereas this one, they are generally in pretty good nick. And this has got a very good set of tracks with it as well. Once we get them freed up, they were just cut off it, unfortunately, to make it easier to move to the place where we got it from. But there are some quite good, all these bins, like they're rotted out at the bottom, but that's nothing we can't repair if we need to. But yeah, I'll jump up and show you the damage to the engine bay. So we've got some ideas with this one. Like these two, because they're in good condition, we've sort of got to restore them to what they were. Whereas this one, because it's been filled with concrete, we feel like we could get away with making it a project and doing some, maybe fitting a non-standard engine, a non-standard drivetrain. We haven't quite decided yet, but I'll jump up and we'll have a proper look inside it. So, sat up on the turret now, and that mess down there is supposed to be the engine bay. So this tank would have been engined with an L60, the Leyland multi-fuel, 6-cylinder 12-piston engine, famously awful one, which we do have a spare engine and gearbox pack, all the radiators and everything, which we could put in this. The main issue we'd have with that is if you look, the wiring isn't in the best condition. Now this was filled, I don't know if you can see back there, like the concrete on the edge, it was filled to the top with concrete. Now the people we got it off have done the horrible job of chiseling it all out, but it has still left all this wiring, all the connections in a hell of a mess. So if we did refit an L60, we're not very confident we could get all this working again without completely rewiring it, which is not something we're that confident in doing. So down in here now, I don't know if you can see, the MOD love to use this white wire for bloody everything. Now normally it is labelled up, which makes it reasonable to work on, but with this, obviously the labels have come off thanks to the concrete, the water, all of that crap. So there's two options we can do with this. Number one, we refit the engine and pack that we've got, try and do it traditional, but then try and sort of run it mechanically, so run it off Bowden cables, etc., do it that way. But that does seem like a waste of a good pack. Well, as good as a Leyland can be. Option two, we use the proper gearbox, which we would fit down there, which would bolt straight into those final drives, and then we use something like a Scania V8 or something along those lines to power it. Option three, which is the one I like, is where we God, hear that? That's the lovely. Option three, which is what I like, is that we try and make a hydrostatic Chieftain. So the idea behind that is we would put some hydraulic final drives off a big excavator, tie them into those final drives somehow. We'd have to do some engineering on that and make it work. And then obviously run it hydraulically, which would also mean then that we could run this hydraulically and do away with all of the Chieftain's wiring and etc. With a normal tank, we'd never even consider this because it's just a waste. But because this one is so far gone, it would mean we wouldn't feel guilty about doing it. And it also means then you've got the rarest of rare things for film jobs, which would be a reliable Chieftain. So if you've got any ideas about this, let us know in the comments what engine you think we should use, whether you think we should try and do it hydrostatically, which I think would be a first for a Chieftain, or we should try and restore it as it is, which would be a massive, massive project, and we probably need some help with the wire inside, or if we try and do it with the L60 but convert it to mechanical operation. Yeah, let us know what you think. It is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a long-term thing. Like I say, we've got Ebby and Greta to finish first before we get onto this, but yeah, let us know what you think. I'll give you a quick tour inside the turret, show you in there, because it's in a lot better condition inside there than it is out here. And but yeah, we've got quite a few ideas about what to do with this. It seems like a shame to just rob it for bits for the other two, but of course, worst case scenario, that's what it'll do. But yeah, we could make it a runner and do something a bit interesting in the process. That's what we're going to do. So this is the view from up top. There's a commander's cupola. We'll get down there in a minute. There's a bit better view of the engine bay. So we have got most of the deck plates, which is good, and we've got all that space to put a different sort of engine. Gun is all intact as it should be. We've got most of the baskets, boxes and everything on the sides of this, which is good. We've got a few spare bits as well to sort of make up the cupola. We've got periscopes and things to go on. Joe's pretending to be a joiner, which is going very well. No. But yeah, so this is inside the commander section. So this thing has stood outside for years. It was a gate guard for a long time, but it is in quite good condition, considering. Just give me a minute to jump down inside, and we'll see what we can see. So I'm now in the commander's seat, if you can call it that. So this is remarkably complete. So yeah, stuff has suffered the ravages of time. There's quite a bit of surface rust, but nothing terrible. Like a good wire brushing in here would have this looking quite presentable, I think. But there does seem to be most of it here. All this cabling and stuff, which probably will get ripped out if we're going to go down the plan of a different engine and different sort of power system. There isn't, let me get the light, as many storage as storage boxes in this as there is in Ebby and the other Chieftain. A lot of that's missing, but there is a lot retained. There's a lot of stuff in here. So down there I think was the loading position. I believe the seat might be missing from that. The barrel in this one's a lot more complete than the other, and it is back, which is why we haven't got as much room. We are going to have to try and get that forward, just to give us a bit more room to work in the turret. That's on the to-do list. This is how it was loaded. I'm not really an expert on that. We'll have to find someone. But it's all these little things like that I like. These little badges. But that down there would have been the gunner's position. I don't think we've got this sighting system in our in either of the other ones. I can't quite remember. It does look quite different. I'm sure someone will have fond memories of having the head glued to that and probably bounced off it. But yeah, to say this has stood outside for so many years, it's remarkably sorry about that, remarkably complete. Let's see if I can get over here for you. I don't really want. Yes, there's the other side of the breech. I think the seat's missing from there. There is some ammunition storage, and then down there is the driver's position. The famous recline seat. That's how they would actually drive them. There's a periscope above his head to see where he's going. I can't really fit down there because that's the gap between the breech and the block, and I'm a bit of a fat person, so I won't be scrambling down there just yet. But we will try and do a video when we get it all opened up and cleaned up a bit. We'll do another one of it, and when we start work on this thing. Now obviously we do need to do Ebby and Greta first, get them finished and up ready for sale. That'll be the next big project. I'll be getting the pack into Ebby. But that's it. I just thought people might like a tour of this one. Just a bit different with it being full of concrete and pretty much a blank canvas for us to work from. So yeah, that's the tour of the newest edition. We're going to go and get on with some work now. Got a slave cylinder to change on the Russian Scott thing. Not Russian, sorry, Polish Scott. So going to get that done. Then I think, what we're doing after that?
What?
We've got the master cylinder or something to take off the Scott, haven't we?
The brake pipes need taken off so we can get them changed.
Yeah, so we can do some work on the Scott, try and get that so it'll start and stop reliably. Then probably go home and have something to eat. But just what everyone might want to see inside this latest acquisition and the plans we've got for it. And then next week, I think, New Year, we start on Ebby. We've got the terrifying job of putting a new pack in it. That's going to be fun. But yeah, so let us know down in the comments what engine you think we should fit in this, if you think we should stick with the L60 and L60 gearbox, whether we should put the Chieftain gearbox in a different engine, or go full hydrostatic. Yeah, that's great. I hope you've all had a happy new year, good Christmas, all that crap, and I'm looking forward to going back to work on Monday. I'll see thee.